Hey there. So I wanted to do a quick video explaining the ARBs page on Look Into Maxi, since I think it's kind of a more difficult page to get a grasp of. So there are these different length stake pool tokens from Maxi to base, and they have different levels of HEX APY, but then depending on the discount and other interesting things like if tokens were burnt and the supply is now lower, the APY in dollar terms could actually be higher for some and lower for others. And so it creates this really interesting dynamic where, there could be some kind of an arbitrage, value arbitrage between the different tokens themselves. So trading, say, Deci for Maxi or Trio for Lucky could get you, a higher absolute APY, or it could just get you more value in the shorter term or in the longer term. So I wanted to use the pulse chain tokens as an example for the arbitrage, just because they're a bit more liquid and it's a bit easier to do these kind of plays. Personally, I haven't really done too much of this stuff, just because I've just been buying, with fiat. So take that with a grain of salt. I'm not advocating for you to do this, but I've provided the information for those that want to. And so what are we really talking about here in terms of arbitrage? Maybe it's helpful if I go back to the home page and show you kind of the home page here. So these sections that are colored with the red and green, depending on if they're at a premium or a discount, you can kind of see that, P Deci is at a discount to its mint, so it's worth less than 1 hex, and it's also at a discount to its stake backing or NAV, so the principal plus interest that it's accrued so far in the stake. And so you could say that it's kind of undervalued, right? And then, there may be another token like P Maxi, which is at quite a premium to the mint, but still at a slight discount to the NAV, but it's definitely kind of worth more than P Deci. And so how can we, in absolute terms, say whether it's better to hold Maxi or better to hold P Deci today, right? Like, what is worth more and what is worth less, and is it worth trading from one to another? Because if the discount on one token gets so extreme, it may be worth, swapping a bit from one token to another to that really discounted one, especially if one is at a premium and one is at an extreme discount. So if you're lucky enough to see that kind of a situation, then there may be an arbitrage there. So maybe I can just bring up this discount chart as well, just to give you a bit of a better visual of what I'm actually talking about. So whenever we're above this yellow line, that's a premium to the NAV or premium to the backing value. So that's the principal. So the principal for each pool token was 1 hex at the start, and then now it's all the way up to around 1.5 for Maxi. So that's the backing value, right? And you can see for Maxi it's a bit of a discount, but it's basically tracking pretty much bang on. And then this is for eMaxi, but I'll stick with this for now. And then eDeci, you can see that it's at a pretty big discount to the NAV, and then even compared to what it was minted for, 1 hex, it's still at a discount, right? Even though that discount has reduced a tiny bit. So in terms of ARBs, what does this all mean? Well, there's the backing value ARB, which it's more of a short-term speculative play on the discount or premium going away and snapping back to the backing value. This table shows you the spread of the current market price discount percentage versus the backing value of one token versus another. So essentially what I've done here is I've taken, if I go to the percentage discounts, it's a bit easier to illustrate this, is I've taken the current backing of each token, and I've found the spread between the discount of each, so the difference between P Maxi and P Deci, for example, you can see that it's around, so -6% from the backing and then -33%. So the total delta between those two is around, 27? So on the ARB table, should be around 27, right? So, and then that's the total delta, percentage delta between the two tokens. And then I've done that for all of them in a kind of a matrix here. And then you can see the effective premium or discount if you swap to me, right? So if you swap from Pmaxi to Pdeci, you're losing value, right? You're kind of losing 30% of your potential value. But the opposite is true. If you go from Pdeci to Maxi, you're kind of making a 30% ARB to a certain extent. That does hinge on the fact that you speculate that Pdeci will snap back to its fair value, and so will Maxi, right? So, you know, you can imagine if Maxi was all the way up here at a crazy high premium, and then Deci was still at a discount, then that spread would be even larger, and it could get anywhere up to, you know, like 100% or more if it was really large, and then you could double your coins potentially if things snap back to the NAV. So that's kind of the backing value ARB, you know, but it is more of a short-term speculative play. There's no guarantee that that kind of a snap back to the NAV is going to actually happen. And then if we go down and we look at the APY in dollars ARBs, it is a long-term absolute play on APY in dollar gain if you swap from one token, if you swap one token for another and hold, sorry, typo, and hold until redemption. So what that is it's looking at, in my opinion, this is a bit more robust because it's an absolute ARB, arbitrage, on the entire length of the stake based on the discount today and the APY that you can get today in dollar terms, right? So taking everything into account, and what it's looking at is it's looking at this metric here, APY in dollars today. So you're getting less APY in dollars for every dollar that you use to purchase Pmaxi. You're getting less APY than you are in Pdeci, and that difference is the number that you see in that table. So the difference between these two is what? 9 plus 4, 13. Let's have a look at the table. So yeah, okay, it's close to 13 with rounding. So 12.5% extra APY with me, right? So Pdeci, you're getting 12.5% extra APY with me. And that is significant because the APY is the best metric to look at. APY in dollars is absolutely the best metric to look at when comparing these tokens, because all other metrics, in my opinion, are kind of subpar to APY in dollar, right? Everyone is here for the APY in dollar metric, and if you can get a higher APY with another token and you happen to be holding, say, Pmaxi, there's no real reason. I mean, obviously you have to check slippage and you have to kind of see if you can execute that order well, but there's no real reason why you wouldn't go from one to the other. Yeah, you have to make that decision for yourself, but you are getting extra APY. And in a shorter time. So, you know, with Pdeci, you're getting better APY right now, right? This is all in flux. HEX APY of Maxi is actually higher. It's just there's no real discount or opportunity there, in my opinion, right? I mean, there is an opportunity. It's at fair value, right? So sellers are getting a good deal, buyers are getting a good deal. I'll do a video on this as well, but Deci, like, sellers are getting an absolutely horrendous deal, in my opinion, and buyers are getting an amazing once-in-a-lifetime opportunity if you're long HEX. So Yeah, so what was I saying? I wanted to go into, oh yeah, so Deci is shorter. So if you want to hold until redemption, or if there's no liquidity and you have to hold until redemption, then that's totally fine. Like 10 years is way shorter than 15, right? So you're going to be holding the asset for less long, and you're going to be getting higher APY, which is kind of the opposite of what we're used to in HEX, right? Like the fair trade-off is always like you stake longer, you get higher APY. We have a very rare situation right now where some tokens, depending on the discount, you can get higher APY for shorter length stakes, which is kind of insane. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the video, and just want to see why I don't have P-Lucky and Maxi. I want to see P-Lucky and Maxi. Ah, here it is. Okay. So in terms of APY, it's comparable, right? But the thing which is not reflected in this chart, you're getting a bit of extra APY with P-Lucky, but the thing that's not reflected, and you can kind of see that here, right, in the APY, 28 versus 26. The thing that's not reflected is that P-Lucky is so much shorter, like it's half the length, and you know, it's already 20% of the way through, so you know, like, yeah, it's just, yeah, the same dollar value of P-Maxi today is yeah, going to give you the same APY if you swap that for Lucky, just you can redeem earlier. Okay, so I'll end the video there, and hope you enjoyed it. Speak soon. Bye-bye.